I hope to achieve greater and greater awareness um, in the circles that I frequent and in the reading rooms where people may pick up an article that I've written or a text that's available that has something of mine in it or that I have published. I hope that more and more people become increasingly aware of the, number one, prevalence of disability globally, and question at the same time, number two, that prevalence with what is seen in the average public spaces. So globally, the World Health Organization estimates 1 billion people. 20% of the human population are people with disability globally. Now that extends from birth to death. It is physical disability, sensory disability, cognitive and developmental disability. So the whole gamut can be included in that. As people age, they are more likely to encounter a life with disability. What my hope is that we increasingly recognize that people with disability belong wherever people without disability are. So if 20% of the population, some estimates are 15%, in the United States, the estimate can go up to as high as 28%. These figures are gathered from census data. If 20%, if we were to take that middle one, if 20% of the global human population are people with disability, that means in any one space where you have 10 people, 2 people there are persons with disability, or could potentially be persons with disability if persons with disability were able to get to that space in the first place. So where we do not meet a 20% or even a 15%, we'll be a little more generous to the non-disabled. If we cannot meet that 15% of persons wherever we are, whatever space we are in, there ought to be, if it's an inclusive environment, 15% of the people who are there will be people with a disability of one sort or another. My hope is that we are fully inclusive in the way that we are moving to greater inclusivity of persons of in any given geographical context, a racial minority, of full inclusivity of persons of gender identities that run the spectrum from lesbian to intersex, to non-sexual, asexual, that we have the presence of persons with disability included in all of these linguistic groups, cultural groups, height, shape, size, ability. This is what my hope is, that human diversity becomes embedded in our hearts as the way God has given us this planet. We're very generous when it comes to natural diversity. Flowers, how many different flowers do we see? In the different seasons, there are different kinds of flowers that pop up, and we marvel at all of them, even those that might cause us to sneeze if we have allergies. But when it comes to thinking about human beings, we tend to be stingy with diversity, right? No, you've got to look like this. You got to fit in here. Well, what does fitting in here mean? I'm a human being. Isn't that a sufficient criteria for getting into this club, whatever this club happens to be? So what I'm hoping that my research does, that my teaching does, that my friendships can achieve is greater sense of inclusivity and welcome of the diversity of humankind.